Hi, I'm Wayne from TC Electronics and Marine, and what we're going to try and do in this video is just show you how to change the water pump impeller. If you haven't got to this stage where the upper is separated from the lower, okay, this being the lower here, this being an upper here, watch the video we have on how to separate an upper and a lower, Gen 2. So I'm just going to go through a few things before I start into this. Number one is you want to leave this in forward. If this is pointing straight out here, that means it's in forward gear. If it's off to the side here, that means it's in reverse gear. So you want to leave it in forward gear. When you're installing it back on the boat, not to try and jump all over the place, but you need to turn the spline here when you're installing it. Is likely not to line up when you go to put it back together. It may, but if it does not, all you need to do is grab some pliers, go to the prop shaft here, put the pliers on the prop shaft, and turn it counterclockwise, not clockwise. Okay, so, and if you turn it counterclockwise, leave this in the middle, or pointing out. If you turn it counterclockwise, I'm going to turn it counterclockwise, and you'll see that the drive shaft is moving. And the reason when you go to reinstall it, it may not go up, is because the splines may not match the upper when you're sliding it up into the boat. In this case we have it off, but in most cases you're going to drop this down from the boat and you're going to leave the upper in. You just want to change the impeller. So you sometimes need to move, and it has to be, you have to turn it counterclockwise. If you turn it clockwise, you'll take it out of gear, and there's a very good chance that this will move over and it won't be able to slide in to the correct spot. Okay, so we want this to face forward. A couple other things. Before you take this apart, I couldn't take a good picture of it on the video. I'm not really sure how this looks here, but anyhow, this here is a Speedo cable, and you turn it on this particular one. You turn it either way, left or right, and pull up on it, and it should come out. You'll see that there's flats. If you break this piece or break the top piece, the GLM does have a replacement unit, but it's not the same as this one. So you can't just change the cap that comes down on it. You have to change the whole unit, and I'll show you why. But I have no idea why they didn't make an exact match, but what do I know? Okay, so this is the replacement unit. It's number 21015. I really got to put the camera down again for this, but I'm going to place it there. Let's see if I can do it here. Yeah, okay, should be able to. So on this unit, to separate it, you push in on this piece here with your thumb, and you just turn it. Okay, it's got a lock mechanism. You can see see it moving over here when I press it with my thumb. Just trying to get at it. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. Okay, so that would lock it from coming out, and then when you press it, it releases. Okay, so put it down, it would lock in. Press this and pull straight up. So it's a little bit different than the other one. You can't just turn it sideways and pull it up. It's not going to work. You have to push in on this piece here. This is the GLM one. Okay, and they're reasonably cheap. It's got two seal areas here and here. And it has a new, it comes with a installed seal there. I'm not sure of the pricing, I should have found out. Okay, so that would be if, back from what I can see here, it actually looks like this one has been leaking. See oil there. But it's not a big job to change one of these. Just undo the two screws, pull it up, slide the new unit down, and away you go. It's relatively inexpensive, so if you've broken this or snapped it off taking it apart, don't panic. Okay. I'm just going to show you this 87 511. If you're planning on changing the seals, then there's no sense purchasing this one because you're getting a duplicate. Okay, and this one here you get the guides, and there's a pin, an extra pin. Okay, water pump pin. Most of the time you could reuse the old one. In fact, almost always. The only real duplication is the seal here, or I think it's called a slinger or something like that. You get one again in the seal kit here. Okay, those are all the parts there. It comes with that quad, comes with the quad seal, that one that's here as well. Okay, so, and it also comes with this going on the outside, this one here, and one of these going on the inside, like so. And you could use these back to back if you want to put them on like that. That's the way their GLM seal kit comes. Okay, the 12080 water pump service kit. Let's see. Does not come with that quad seal that we talked about. I guess the 50 cents would, or 25 cents it would cost to include it. Put them over their budget. Not sure what the story is. However, it does come with the upper seal. So if you've pressure tested this and you got air coming out, you'd really have to take the water pump off to check it to see the air bubbling. But it would, if it wasn't coming from the prop shaft. And by the way, you need to plug this here hole if you're pressure testing it. Anything you want, just put something over it. It would more than likely be this seal here that would be leaking. If you see it coming out at the, you'll see it coming out at the top usually when it's installed. This is the water pump impeller for this, comes with this unit. So 12080 comes with one of these, which also is included, just so you know, this unit here is included in the seal kit if you buy a lower unit seal kit. So if you purchase this unit, the 12043, and a lower unit seal kit, this would be better for you than this would cover all of the seals, because you'd have a seal kit as well. I'm just going to grab a seal kit to show you. Okay, next item. This may be all filled with calcium. This particular one is relatively new. I don't see any calcium on it at all. It's been well taken care of. It hasn't been left in the water. Highly unusual situation. I usually get stuff that's, well, I say it's been taken care of, but as you can see, kind of hasn't been taken care of well there. It got broken taking it trailering, and I would think is how this got done. And we are planning on welding this. Okay, one other agenda. This causes a lot of problems for people. There's a little indentation here. It's a cutout. It's about a 30 thou deep, and there's a 50 or 60 thou quad or O-ring, whatever they call it. It's a quad seal, I think is the correct name, but who knows. It goes in there like that. You should have some gasket compound on it. Okay, you can use the Merck stuff, the Johnson stuff, whatever you have. Just put something on it so it doesn't fall out. The problem is you get it all together, you've done a great job, and then it's going to start leaking here if you don't have this seal. This is the port that goes from the bottom to the top. Okay, so you know it's not going to hold pressure, it's not going to hold oil properly if you don't have that seal there. And for whatever reason, in their infinite wisdom, it's not included with either one of the water pump kits that they sell. So that's kind of dumb, but anyway, it is what it is. Okay, to take this apart, you're going to need I think it's, just want to make sure here. Yeah, 5/16 socket. You'll need a socket, screwdriver, and before you start this project, you might want to pick up a water pump kit. This one's number 12043. Okay, it comes with the impeller, the plate, the stainless steel piece, seal for the magnetic screw on the bottom. Oh, and I lied to you. It does have a seal here that I was talking about that goes there. The quad seal. It's in here. That would be a good reason I couldn't see it. It was on the other side. Alright, so that's good. And I wonder if this one does. Okay, so that's one kit. This one here. These are all the parts that come with it. These two guides. Impeller. A key. Okay, I forget what you call these. It's the piece that slides down right there. It's some unique name. Okay, so it's quite often these have all cracks, and you grease them, by the way, too, when you put them back on. So the 12. Okay, if I'm repeating myself and going over things, it's the reason is in between this video I keep getting phone calls, so that's the reason why. Couple of things, you know, people have said to me, why do they charge so much? Well, at the marinas to switch it out. I mean, part of the reason is they, you know, they're covering a full-time mechanic, and they have overhead, so you know, you maybe don't, but they do, and they have to include that. But yeah, it is a relatively really simple, you know. So usually there's calcium on here, so you got to clean the calcium off with some emery cloth. Number 3 or 400 emery cloth. Okay, and then you pull this up. Okay. And you can see where it's kind of seen better days. So it hasn't been off for, I'm guessing it hasn't been off for a while. But you never know, maybe they didn't get this piece if they used the other seal kit with it. So we're going to pull these 4 screws out here. And I'm just going to pry it up here at the front. Okay. And we're going to just bring it straight up. This is what you're going to find. Sometimes the fins will be broke here. They're usually all going the same direction. You know, you might see it in this case that one of them wasn't. It's only because we were turning it back and forth. And there's actually, just so we keep the record straight here, there's nothing wrong with this impeller. I'm just taking this apart and I'll put a new gasket in. But it didn't, it doesn't look bad, and it straightened out right away. I was just using this as an example because it was here to show people how to change their impeller. Okay, so at the bottom here, maybe you can see it better that way. Okay, there's a slot there. This would line up like that. You put your gasket on here. This gets, you put grease, you just put some grease on here. Okay, and you would look for the slot in the impeller. Slide this down when you're putting it back on. Okay, like that. And then you would make sure your gasket is on here. Some people use grease to hold it on. Some people use gasket compound. I usually use the gasket compound just to hold it in place. And then what I do is the top piece here, the shaft, the dry shaft, I put one hand here and I turn the drive shaft clockwise. I'm at home right now working on my bench, but at work we have a tool that goes over the top, but I see here it's not necessary. You can turn this, it doesn't take much to turn it. And it takes a lot less if you put some grease on the impeller prior to, which is perhaps another thing. So you should grease the housing here and grease the impeller when you're putting this together, and the reason for that is when you change the impeller or you put it back together, I mean, things can happen. The key could fall out, the tube could, better show the tube. The tube could fall out or not line up or something to that nature, okay? Or you could have something completely different happen. You could have back pressure coming from the manifolds down into the water pump, and it would stop it from bringing it up. So if you put some grease on this, it can run for 10 or 20 minutes if you put wheel bearing grease in there without doing any damage to the impeller, as long as you fill it with some grease. So the reason you'd want to do that is you want to check the water flow. When you put the water pump back together, the upper and lower all back together, and you're ready to test it, you should be checking the water flow in the water. Okay, this, or a test tank, but not on, let's see, I gotta show one. Okay, this is a for running your water in the driveway. This is not a good way to test the water flow of a Gen 2 or actually any of them, because it would be forcing the water up at somewhere between 20 to 60 pounds, whatever the city water flow is, depending on where you live or your well pressure is. So it would be better off in a test tank, okay, or backed into in the lake, and then check the water flow on the inside of the engine compartment, disconnect it, and fill it 2-gallon pail or a 1-gallon pail, and figure out how long it takes you. More than how long it takes you is just if you have a steady stream of water flow coming through. If it's full of bubbles and you can see exhaust gas coming up, you've done something wrong. Either you haven't put the gasket in right, or gasket compound, or you don't have the tube in place properly, or the gasket at the end of the tube is screwed up, or possibly the guide tube is not correct, okay, in here, or it's melted off. But normally you'd be able to see that, you know. If it gets too hot, this will all melt, by the way. And that's why you'd need a replacement unit, which comes with this kit if that did happen. And that does happen when the water pump goes. If it's not pumping any water, the engine can get pretty hot. So, and that's about it. That's all I can think of that would run into trouble. So, in my case, if I'm doing a unit, this is a fairly new unit and wouldn't require it, but this would be the seal underneath here, and inside here would be the seal. Just going to show you. Okay, so this is a replacement for that. That's the seal area there. And on the outside of this one, when you're installing it, okay, we would be putting gasket compound on the inside and the outside of that O-ring. And to take this unit off, you just simply, I'm not going to do it right now, but we used to use a red and a black, 2 black Phillips at the shop. You put one in here, in that hole there. Just, okay, something like that, and you just pry it up, and there's one on the other side, and if you just pop them up together, it comes out very, very easy. Not a big deal. You might want to clean all the junk around it so it doesn't go down inside the bearing before you pop that out. But the reason I'm bringing this up is if you dropped it off the bottom of the boat already, and you've already got to the point where you're at the water pump here, I mean, for the extra amount of time, you should think about changing this, okay? Because you're already here. You don't want to put it all back together, pressure test it, and then find out that if you spent 5 more minutes on it, you could have switched this seal at the same time. And that's pretty much it. It's you know, relatively easy to change this. My wife brought up a good point. Since the name of this video is changing the water pump, maybe I should actually change it instead of just showing you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this over here for a sec. We're going to, so in my case, I'm going to throw some gasket compound on here. Some people grease these. The reason I put the gasket compound in, or would have a preference if it was my boat, is because if it was to if the impeller was to burn out or start to go or overheat, it doesn't burn it. It'll stop the gasket from burning. Won't do you an awful lot of good though, because it'll keep the gasket in one piece, but the usually the impeller fins are broke at that point and it stopped pumping. Okay, so there's two sides to this. There's a side here that's got a burr and edge. We want to keep that away from the impeller. Okay, so it would go down, and I don't think it would line up anyway. So the smooth side drops down on that. Just line it up with the screw holes. Okay, so you're just going to line this up with the screw holes on top. We're going to get some grease here. Just put some there. I'm going to reuse this pin. Okay, this key, as they call it, not a pin. Actually, sometimes they call it a pin on outboards, but I'm going to use a new impeller. I always throw a new impeller in, even though there was nothing wrong with the other one. Seems a bit of a waste. Okay. I'm gonna just shift that up and put a little bit of. So we're gonna turn it clockwise. So you can just put it on the clockwise side of the fins where it's going to be touching to get it in. Okay. I have to dig the old one out here. And I have to remove the gasket here. Alright, and we're going to place the gasket in here like this. And on this side, I'm going to just add a little bit of gasket compound. Okay. If the gasket compound got on the impeller, it wouldn't be the end of the world. The impeller's all greased. Okay, and we're going to just throw a bit of grease in there. Again, it's just in case something goes wrong and it doesn't, it ends up running with no water going through it. Okay, so you might want to wire brush these, and you might want to just put a little bit of stuff on them. If you leave them like that, put the other one in. Okay, I'm just gonna, so we're gonna just gently push down on this, and I'm going to turn the shaft. Probably can't see it. Okay, so we're going to turn this clockwise and push down. And you need to make sure that the plate on the bottom does not move on you. So what we could do is just place a screwdriver just to stop the plate from moving and to line up the holes. Let's do one at the front here. Okay, so I'm going to just press down, turn it, and you just need to line up the holes on the bottom here. Screw. If you use a Phillips, you should be able to pick up the holes just to line it up. Just make sure you can catch all four before you start reefing up on all of them, to make sure that the gasket is in the correct spot, and the plate. Okay, so these are all I just got them loose. The water pump bolts there. Just going to snug it up. And we're using the first setting on this, which is 12 pounds, so you absolutely do not need to put a lot of torque on these bolts here, or you can end up breaking them off. Something new. So you need to take it easy with that. I don't have one of these slingers, so I'm going to steal one out of the seal kit, because I'm going to use that to change the, when we're doing the next video, after I finish welding it, I'm going to be taking the bearing carrier out, so I can take this off of here. And it's a little bit of overkill for the grease. Okay. And that's it. That's pretty much it. Not a lot to it. But one thing, whatever you do, this is how many times I've got a phone call for this. It's leaking in between where the upper and the lower fit. Oil is coming out. That's okay. So make sure that's in there with some gasket compound, or for sure it will fall out. You know, if something can go wrong, it will. Go easy on these screws too. You know, if you're in Timbuktu somewhere and you can't get them, they're stainless. I'm not sure what the thread is. We do carry them, but you know, it's a real pain if you got to phone us because you've lost a screw somewhere. That's pretty much concludes it. So we will be doing another video showing you how to take the bearing carrier out, and this unit does have to be all together in order to push the bearing carrier out, and the reason is we're going to pressurize the lower unit with 40-50 pounds and use a bearing carrier puller to pull it out with. So you have to have this back, and you have to have this seal installed And this here actually holds this down, holds this in place from popping up. So the water pump has to be together to pressure test it. So on the next video from here, I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to take the bearing carrier out and split it up into smaller parts. If you've got any questions or you have trouble, just give me a call. So just phone TC Electronics /Marine. It's www.sterndrive.info. We have drawings and pictures and parts there if you get stuck and lose a piece or whatever. And the water pump kits are there as well. The person on the order desk would be Brian. And they're open between I think 10 and 5. And they're closed Fridays as far as I know. In the summertime they may be open Fridays and Saturdays. And thanks for watching, and if you liked the video, could you please press the like button on it, and if you want notification of the next videos that we have coming out, the bearing carrier one probably is next, just join or whatever it is that's on there and you'll get notified when that video is ready. Thanks for watching. Bye.